Today's video we begin to shoot in an unusual place. To my left is the largest stadium of our country, Ukraine, 85,000 seats, and to my right, of course, the ticket office, where tickets are sold. And who went to football matches, he knows what the last ticket is. And today it is the last ticket, the ticket to the world of Atmo engines. And today we have on review Lexus as 500F, Sport Launch Edition. The only copy in Ukraine and in Europe. These cars were sold in limited editions of 500 copies for the whole world. And there are few of them on our continent, and the closest countries have no such cars at all. Today we will get acquainted with the characteristics and features of this car, have a race with interesting opponents, measure its power, and tell you what the coolness of this car is. 5-liter naturally aspirated engine, almost 500 horsepower, more than 500 newtons of torque, and almost 300 kilometers per hour. Guys, I was preparing for today's review and there is almost no information about this car. Very fresh ultra-modern novelty. The presentation and start of sales was at the end of last year and then you could make a pre-order of this car. All cars were sold out at once and the car promises to become a collector's car, because it is a 5-liter naturally aspirated engine. This is the world of Atmo engines, it is already leaving. Turbo engines have won, and now electric cars are stepping on their heels. Guys, very cool car, very. You know what you should do now? You put this car in some garage, don't cover it with anything, warm it up twice a year, and in 10 years this car will be worth $400,000, mark my words. 400,000 will be worth such a car in 10 years. Collectible car with Atmo engine. When I had Audi R8, I prided myself on having a naturally aspirated engine. The car is not very fast, but it gives emotions. There is no anti-lag system in this car, no excess torque, nothing extra, and this car is very stable, you know, even in circuit racing. You realize that in a ring race between a turbo car and this one, this car will just crush the turbo engine because turbo engines all warm up, and here it just doesn't. And of course, the well-known 5.0 engine from Lexus is super reliable and super quality. Of course, this is not as dynamic as some mega-modern sports cars, but guys, this car is collectible, especially since we have Launch Edition. All the cars were painted in this color. This is not some vinyl film, this is a paint in this exact Nardo gray. Beautiful paint, this is such a chic look, and this car is completely stock. Now there will be a little video in which you will see how beautiful it is, and after the video I will tell you the technical features of this car, and what are the features of this car and all sorts of interesting elements. Then we'll talk about prices and equipment, there are a few complaints. And after that there will be racing, measuring, and everything else. Let's talk about the technical features. Guys, I'm sitting near the wheel, this is one of the main features of this car. The wheels are forged, from the BBS, 1.8 of a kilogram lighter than the stock wheel, and it was in this car that only these wheels were standard and native, this is factory painted. And it's 19 in diameter. As for the brakes, there's a 4-piston brake drum not very big, a normal, not even a perforated brake disc. Of course the disc is ventilated, 235/40/19, the standard size for a Class C car. But we have problems in the back, 265 in the back, not a very wide wheel. I would put at least 285, I think the owner will do so. At the rear, the brake disc is generally small, it is ventilated here, but also not perforated. These are wheels of different widths, the same BBS disc, but of a different type and width. As for the brakes, guys, that's fucked up. The rear is a regular bracket, as in some Mazda or Honda. I do not understand why this is so. It generally seems to me that the rear brakes from some ordinary Lexus 300 series. It's not a sport at all. And this is where the deception comes into play. Now I will show you the whole deception. See the inscription F Sport? Do you know what F Sport is? It's not fucking F, because in the real Lexus ISF it was just F, there was no Sport. This suggests that this is a sporty, but more civilian version than ISF. There is a little more power here, of course, the technology has gone a little ahead, but this car is not a direct competitor to BMW M3. That is, it is positioned a little lower. I think that the level of this car is like an Audi S5 or S4. That's about it. If it fights the S-Series, of course it will win. And if we are talking about our S-Series, we will find out today. Some cars of this class will drive up and see what this car will show us. After all, a 5-liter engine and a fairly fast gearbox. Although this model is already 12 years old. Guys, this car is 12 years old, it's already the last restyling, the last facelift, and it's on our channel only because it's interesting because it's collectible. This is the American standard for this car, because Lexus is made and designed exactly in the USA. I propose now to drive around a bit and see what people buy this car for. About my task, I'm not a circuit racer, I tell you this every time. I will not tell you about the driving in Ukraine, because we do not have tracks to reveal this car. 8-speed transmission, 8-cylinder Atmo engine, 479 horsepower. I understand that in Europe 479, but usually 472. Although Oleg will now say that this car was not sold in Europe, it is true, it was sold only in Canada and America.
And in Japan.
And Japan, of course. Everything is quite intuitive, a chic instrument panel. I like it very much, it is very small and compact, like an expensive watch. I love it, it's fantastic. The car has almost 13,000 miles on it now, 12,931 kilometers to be exact. It drives great, but I immediately miss the soundproofing. Although the tires are very noisy here, the fact is that we are driving along the road along which, perhaps, we drove military equipment and it leaves roughness on the surface, and therefore the wheels are buzzing. In Ukraine this is now quite common. The noise level is slightly higher than in Mercedes, although we are driving 120 km per hour. Everything is acceptable, I do not raise my voice in the car, there is nothing annoying here. The car is soft, no issues. Stupid. Just a stupid turn signal. I cannot get over it, guys, I really do not like it at all. I'm driving now in 8th gear, I didn't even notice how it switched, cool work of the gearbox. Here, of course, not a double clutch, here is a torque converter, a conventional 8-speed gearbox, reliable. I think the manufacturer is Aisin, because Toyota uses Aisin in principle. I think these gearboxes are very durable and this one will work without problems. Well, you yourself know that in powerful mono-drive cars, gearboxes live for a very long time, because the load falls on the slipping tires, and not on the transmission itself and not on its clutch packs. As for the brakes, guys, the floating discs up front, you can see it, the aluminum hub, so that the hub bearing itself doesn't overheat. Here a floating brake disc is made, and of course it saves you from vibration. I like the backlight. Toyota and Lexus have been using Opto Light for a long time. It's very cool, I really like it. Many German brands switched to it literally only 10 years ago. Toyota, it was invented as they say more than 20 years ago, they had it a long time ago. Ergonomics. Because of my weight of more than 100 kilograms, not all seats fit me. Here they are gorgeous, very comfortable. In general, the car is not only about sports, it is also good for everyday use. Constantly blinking sign to keep the car in the road lane. Frankly, I do not really like this feature in all modern cars. Guys, Lexus has a very cool feature. When switching, it leaves a mark for about half a second or almost a second at what speed the car switched. This is very cool and convenient. No one does that, and in Lexus there is such a feature. Immediately remembered RCF. There it happens exactly the same way. Very cool. Guys, go 130. Here are my hands. Perfectly predictable, cool car, comfortable and convenient. We rode the pavement today, no problems. Also checked the braking, everything is perfect. I was driving, after the operator's car, brakes with no problems. In order to understand how good the brakes are to be braked from 200 several times in a row, we don't do this, we don't measure such characteristics, that's enough for me. I think that almost no car has enough regular brakes when braking from 300 km per hour. Let's speed up a bit. Fine. Guys, the car is driving at this power. Cool. Impressive. I am not trying to accelerate it to the speed of light now, the owner will do it in the competition. Rides great. By the way, do you know how long it took them to sell out?
In 2 months they were already bought, even the ones that were on their way. The ones that were supposed to go on sale in the showrooms, they were bought before they reached the showrooms.
That is, 2 months and no models left. This is fucked up, guys, this is fucked up. You know what I mean? I'm riding in a car I just can't buy. That is, it can be bought for about 120,000 or 150. It's cheaper in America. A new car costs 75,000, yes. But shipping, customs clearance, you end up with about 100. Here the car would cost about 100,000. You understand that if in America the owners will sell the car for 100,000, and they will not sell it cheaper, then in Ukraine the price will start from 125,000. And that's for 1 year. What I said was that you're merchants, you're all like that. That's what you do. In such a car to go to Europe to drive on the Nürburgring, it's just the highest class. I really hope that some amount of time will pass, a small one, 6 months or a year, and Oleg will send me his photo or video, and say, Sergey, remember we were driving along the Borispol highway, you spoke to 2 cameras on the windshield, and now I'm at the Nürburgring, as you wanted. That's where this car will prove itself. That's the road for it. Big, cool, quality road, fast corners. That's the story for such a machine. I suggest to look at the interior of the car, in general to look at its interesting features. Guys, the grille is in the corporate style from Lexus, and what we have here, of course, the active air intakes on the brakes. This is how it all looks. The headlight is very cool, so sharp. In general, such facets are interesting. And of course, there are branded 3 such diodes. The light is very interesting and of high quality. We already drove at night and watched the headlight shine. I really like it. The headlight unit just looks great, cool looking, very stylish. Lexus has their own headlights, and remember I reviewed Lexus RCF and there the headlight was called the Flying Flock. By the way, Lexus is coming to our parking lot. The mirrors at Lexus have a special shape, that's how they look, interesting. Very cool skirt at the bottom, I like it very much, so thin, there is no molding, it is a tribute to modern cars that there are no moldings. Of course there is Shadowland all over the bodyline. The most interesting part of this car is the back. The spoiler is not carbon, not carbon. Black gloss, not carbon. Full solid diode strip, looks very cool. This is how it looks, completely solid diode. And since we're talking about optics, there's an interesting downside. Guys, these turn signals, they blink with a light bulb, a regular light bulb. How high-tech Lexus is, how Toyota is ahead of the rest of the world in technology, and here is such an oversight. I mean, everything here is diode, everything is beautiful, but here is an ordinary light bulb. The rear diffuser here is quite massive and beautiful. And of course, the exhaust is made in the style of Lexus ISF. Lexus has been using this style for a very long time. In principle, I like this kind of car. Remember the first Lexus ISF which had such a similar exhaust, and by the way, everyone said at the time that it is a controversial idea, a controversial choice, quite interesting choice and look specific. Now we got used to it. Lexus stands this style for many years, and if you consider that this is the final look of the sporty version of the car for the near future, then you understand what we have on the review today at all: a collectible thing, a collectible car. I do not really like the design of acoustics, it looks very poor, this part is just very poor. I think that some kind of bezel and some kind of premium sound would look better here. Here are the usual power window buttons, everything is very aesthetic here. Very aesthetic. All cars, all Lexus 500F Sport Launch Edition are equipped with a two-tone interior. They are all the same, it's black leather and grey Alcantara. All interiors are the same, all have the same wheels, and all the same color. These 500 cars, they are completely identical. On the threshold of the inscription F Sport. I fit in, this test has already been passed, which means everything is fine. There is a complaint about this multimedia touchpad from Lexus. It does not behave very well and it is not very convenient for using multimedia. Let's check out the sound of the door. Cool. Japan, they have it for a long time, it's already a tradition, they always have a great sound, I really like it, there are no complaints here. Steering wheel. Guys, a good steering wheel, but to be honest, it is very far from the coolness of Mercedes. Although the matte wood insert looks very nice, just fantastic. The paddles could have been aluminum. Well, in short, there is something to complain about. The buttons do not fit here, I just physically do not like them, they are unpleasant, they are very cheap. Let's just say, very trivial and banal buttons. Of course, we have a sign here that this is a limited edition, launch edition. 58th car out of 500. We have an armrest in which there is one USB charging and one aux, there can be no wireless charging here. Still, everywhere it can be traced that the car is already 12 years old. This is the second restyling of the car and roughly speaking a limited edition version, but in fact it is already an old car. Yes, it looks very cool thanks to the color, it drives cool thanks to the powerful engine. Looks good thanks to some modifications, wheels, sills, skirts, it all greatly improves the appearance, but I cannot compare it with the latest BMW M3 and, of course, with the latest Audi RS4. It seems to me that they will be noticeably cooler, but guys, the prices for those cars will be much higher. And if you consider that there is an Atmo engine and the car is a collector's item, the choice is obvious. All the cars were sold in a matter of days, and now you can buy them for much more than they were originally sold. There's a branded clock here from Lexus. Very cool sliders for adjusting the climate temperature in the passengers and driver, they're very intuitive. It just works great. I've never liked this implementation, I've always preferred physical instruments, but here these sliders work cool. What else is interesting here? The audio system from Mark Levinson is the signature music from Lexus for many years, the last 20 years, probably since the founding of the brand Lexus. That is, the premium American-made Toyota. And I was surprised that neither the subwoofers nor the door speakers are labeled with this premium audio company. It is very strange. The top compartment is clad in leather, by the way, I'm not sure that it is leather. This is not leather most likely, but this part is lined with leather, it seems to me so. Write in the comments, although I doubt that you will write something, because no one has seen this car, it is very rare. Perhaps only if people from America watch the video, they will be able to compare and comment on it. Guys, basically everything is good enough, ergonomic, beautiful, a little glossy, everything is quite aesthetic. There is no super premium here, although it looks pretty good. Of course there is a black ceiling, you see. Look, I took off my glasses, but the eyeglass case is nowhere to be found. It just doesn't have a case for glasses. In cars of this class, this level, this is a basic feature, eyeglass cases. Here, of course, we have a place for the card, backlit visors, and guys, look 2022nd year, and the car is late 21st year. There's a light bulb. What the fuck? Why is there a light bulb? I don't want a light bulb in the car.
I don't want that.
I want a diode for $100,000, but here it just isn't there.
So cool.
And there are many such features, such failures. Then, as for the buttons. Buttons are not bad, but guys, it would be better if the trim was made of chrome, or brushed aluminum. I think those features would look a lot more interesting. I just saw that the seats have both heating and ventilation. I knew about heating, but I wasn't sure if there was ventilation. Navigation, of course, this car has it all. Let me now show you the instrument panel and see how it looks in general. Media first. What does the whole thing look like? Very beautiful animation. Look, now we are filming it all in one take. Here, you see. See what animation? I love. Very beautiful, just fantastic, launch edition, it all glows, everything is cool. Now look over here, it's a mechanical dashboard and watch it pull away. This is the feature here, it's very cool. Here you can select different additional menu items. And, of course, it all slides back in. Fantasy, really. I really like this, it looks very cool. So guys, and of course, heading key. Let's show the key, I'll show you now. Putting glasses here. I'm putting on my glasses, and do you remember the video about the Volvo? This was filmed here 2 years ago. I said, I'm putting on my glasses, let's go. This moment was a landmark situation for me. Lexus, original squirrel, original. This is what closing, opening the trunk, and the alarm looks like. Then there is another secret here, this is how it slides here. I mean, this is the bottom. This is the bottom. I think it may not be the main key, although it kind of is. That's fucked up. I can't find any justification for this. This is one of the worst keys in general in our review, for such and such a machine. The keychain is not bad, by the way, I'll just put it here. Thank God it's got keyless entry so you can't see it, because well, it's just a failure. It's just a dead idea. Guys, we came to the next location. You know we haven't shown car owners in quite a while. It's hard to shoot with them because they get tense and anxious in front of the camera. Today is not such a case. Oleg, the owner of this car, appears in our frame, and I want to ask him a few questions. You see, another motorcyclists are disturbing us. Hi Oleg.
Hello.
I have a few questions. Who drives a Lexus?
Young people. Young people who are engaged in business buy such cars for themselves.
Not all Lexus owners are in the agricultural business.
That's for sure.
When you were picking out a car, almost 100,000, a lot of money, in this day and age, and now September and there's fighting, real war, and you paid $100,000 for a car. You're a businessman and you made that investment. Explain it to us.
The car was bought in November of the year 2021, was supposed to arrive in March, but because of shipping difficulties it arrived just recently. This is not so much about investments, but about love for the car and this brand. But it can be called an investment. 58th of 500, they will be no more, the last of the Mohicans, a 5-liter monster that gives pleasure, is an investment.
A year ago, in September there was a presentation of the car, in October the pre-order was opened, in November it was bought.
Yes, the first installment has been made.
Just a gorgeous and expected response. I want to explain to you a little, this is the last powerful Lexus. That's it, there will be no more such cars on an atmospheric engine. Lexus said so, this is the last powerful car, a midsize sedan from Lexus on a naturally aspirated engine. Then, most likely, there will not even be powerful turbo, most likely there will be hybrids, or even electric cars. That's why I said at the beginning of the video that this car can be put in a garage, and in 10 years it will cost $400,000. I'm sure you won't.
That's right, I'll enjoy it.
Sound is just an indescribable emotion. Therefore, now I propose to listen to the sound of a 5-liter atmospheric exhaust from Lexus. Go. Guys, I'm just in shock. Very cool sound. Well, I'm impressed. I like it very much. I like it very much. It's not like M3 and M4, maybe a little bit like C63. And of course, it's cooler than RS4. It's just a top. We're continuing the video, this is day 2. I changed clothes and we came to our friends, the company Upstage. This is the technical partner of our channel. Vlad is the owner. Hi Vlad.
Hello.
They always measure our cars, always comment on the measurements, always show us a clear and nice graph. Guys who need a stage 1 or 2, go to them. I have a question, have you seen such Lexus?
Yeah, I've seen it.
It is the only one in Europe.
With such an engine.
I get it, there's one in Europe and one in Ukraine. Launch edition. 5-liter naturally aspirated engine, 8-speed gearbox, 8 cylinders, old school, interesting car. Basically a collectible car. 472 horsepower, 525 knots of torque. How much power do you think the car will show?
430 horsepower.
430 horsepower. And the torque?
500, slightly less torque and power.
We'll take measurements of the car, you'll watch a nice video, and we'll talk about the results. We took measurements of our Lexus. Guys, the results, in principle, are expected. Vlad comment.
I didn't guess a bit. 452 horsepower and 568 Newton moments.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I also really like it. Not a bad result. In general, what do you say about this car? Is tuning pointless here?
Yes, as such.
Yes, guys, this is not a turbo engine, but an atmospheric engine. Here practically nothing can be added or subtracted, although it can be subtracted. I know that you usually add 5 to 7% of the power at the most.
Yes, maximum.
But all that concerns turbo engines and compressor engines, contact Vlad. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3, firmware upgrade. I recommend, and by the way, I service my cars and change the software, of course, only at Vlad's. X4 M40i for my wife was made in this company, a chic result. I recommend to everyone. What do you think? We planned this car to compete with your M3, with your car, which has 450 horsepower. There are 452 horsepower, you have 600 torque.
I think more.
Yes, 650. Here is your stock car. Who will be faster? This Lexus or your car?
Of course, M3 is faster.
Guys, therefore, for today's race, Vlad has already done stage 2 on his car, so this option is not suitable, and we will have a big surprise for you. Which, you will see after a short beautiful video. Guys, here we come to the Borispol track, and now your favorite heading is the competition. And who will we put against our Lexus? Guys, we found a very interesting car, as its classmates are not competitors to it, because this Lexus is atmospheric and stands alone in the cohort of its kind. We found an atmospheric car, it's Dodge Charger, 19, 6.4 tenths, about 475 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, an 8-speed transmission, and an 8-cylinder engine. Same here, 8-cylinder engine, 8-speed transmission, and rear-wheel drive. Well, you will say that here the motor is 6.4, and this is more than the Lexus, but Lexus is lighter. And after this race, I still don't know what the results will be, just a fucking surprise awaits you. Guys, this car was really hard to find, and this car is really a match for our Lexus. We watch the first part of the competition, and after that we move on to the promised surprise. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. One, two, three.
The Lexus has already overheated, you see, it's no longer going. We, too. But our difference is huge.
1, 2, 3. One, two, three.
What do you think?
Very good.
Happy to be here.
I'm very satisfied. That's the best thing that could have happened today. Very cool. It's a very good ride. In fact, I do not understand why Lexus rides a little weaker.
Sergey is sitting there.
So that's it. He needs to go to the gym.
Guys, we have already taken a ride, made a video with this Dodge Charger. Not bad, right? Dodge beats us a little, no matter how hard we try. The car is still a little faster. In fact, Lexus is designed for circuit racing. You understand that this is a collectible car for ring tracks. You ask, Sergey, why do you have a camera in your hand? Remember this? I always say this is exactly the thing that I shoot and shout. Come on faster, drag it, drive it. We lost this camera. One of these cameras was attached to the car, but attached with Velcro, it was lost. Look at the sacrifices we are making for you. We lost the camera, we've been looking for an hour. It's dark now, so I apologize for the quality of the shot. Which car to put against this Lexus? You say, M3, C63, or RS4. These are bi-turbo cars, they are slightly faster and more powerful. We have a motor without a turbine. What to choose? The technology of this car is 10 years old. Of course this BMW, which is already 10 years old. Behind me is BMW M3 E92. You will say that this car is older, but BMW technology is one step ahead of the planet. Therefore, 4-liter engine V8, rear-wheel drive, very fast 7-speed DCT dual clutch box. Let's see which one of them wins, because it seems to me that these cars are very similar. 420 horsepower and 400 torque. More than 500 torque and 470 horsepower. Let's see who wins this competition. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. One, two, three. One, two, three. I wasn't expecting it. I was ready to lose, I just needed the content. You understand what I needed. PR and so on. But I didn't expect this car to drive like this. You know what I mean? Honestly.
Welcome to the channel.
I was willing to lose for the sake of hype.
No, it's all fair here.
Let's do the results of our competition. Our car was the slowest. But that was not her discipline. I want to say thank you to the owner of the car, Oleg. You now see his Instagram profile on the screen. He gave us the opportunity to drive this collectible ring car. It's not the most powerful and fastest car in the world, but it's charismatic. You know what's cool? The fact that it's the last one, it's really a legend. In the 22nd year, we are filming a legendary car. If you lock this car in the garage today, it will be worth about $400,000 in 10 years. This is a fantastic car. I am very glad that such machines appear on the territory of our country, free Ukraine. Many thanks to Oleg for bringing this car. Guys, CDs for $10,000 were urgently ordered especially for our video. Agree they look cool. Charismatic car, charismatic owner. Not everything is measured in seconds, not everything is measured in power. There are cars that are not very fast, not very powerful, but they are high status, beautiful, rare, exclusive. This is one of those cars. This is where I end. I am very happy that I got to know such a machine and had the opportunity to show it to you. It's really exclusive, it's really a rarity, it's really a future legend. Guys, have some taste, appreciate those moments, enjoy life. This is the end of the video. I wish you all a good evening. Serdjio was with you.